Donald Trump didn't suddenly appear in politics. He was shaped by systems that rewarded attention, conflict, and rule-bending long before he ever ran for office. This video explores the overlooked history of Donald Trump, not through scandals or sound bites, but through the environments that shaped how he negotiates, communicates, and commands attention. From real estate to media to politics, the pattern remains consistent, and once it becomes visible, his rise no longer looks accidental. By the end, it becomes clear why Trump was not an anomaly, and why removing him does not remove the conditions that made him inevitable. Most people recognize a single version of Donald Trump: the politician, the provocateur, the controversy. That version dominates headlines and public debate, but it begins far too late in his story. Trump did not invent his behavior when he entered politics, he imported it. The instincts people associate with his political presence were developed long before public office became an option. What changed was not the behavior, but the stage. This matters because behavior does not emerge in isolation. It's shaped by feedback. Systems reward what works and discard what doesn't. Trump's approach survived because it succeeded repeatedly in earlier environments. When viewed only through politics, his rise appears disruptive. But when viewed historically, it appears consistent. The same tools were applied in different arenas. The same instincts produced similar results. The familiar version of Trump feels jarring because it's seen without context. Detached from the systems that trained it, the behavior appears abnormal. Placed back into its developmental environment, it becomes legible. The public version starts at visibility. The real story starts at conditioning. And that distinction changes how everything else is understood. Before politics, Trump was shaped in New York real estate, an environment where image routinely outweighed balance sheets and perception carried real economic value. Winning was not determined solely by being correct. It was determined by being visible, confident, and difficult to ignore. This system did not punish exaggeration. It rewarded it. Public presence increased perceived value. Litigation became leverage. Conflict extended negotiations rather than ending them. Attention itself functioned as an asset. In this environment, restraint was costly. Silence reduced leverage. Aggression created options. The market didn't correct theatrical behavior, it amplified it. Trump learned that outcomes were shaped as much by narrative as by numbers. Control of attention translated into control of negotiation. Visibility created momentum, even when fundamentals were unstable. This training ground normalized tactics that later shocked political observers. But inside real estate, they were not aberrations, they were tools. What looks disruptive in one system can be optimal in another. Trump's early success reinforced this lesson. The playbook wasn't ideological. It was adaptive. This is where the pattern formed, long before ballots or campaigns existed. Trump did not clash with media culture. He mastered it early. Talk shows, tabloids, headlines, each reinforced the same lesson. Controversy generated airtime. Conflict sustained relevance. Clarification weakened momentum. And this wasn't manipulation. It was adaptation. Media rewarded behavior that produced attention. Trump learned quickly which signals were amplified and which were ignored. In this system, consistency mattered less than presence. Explanation reduced impact. Provocation extended visibility. The feedback loop was clear and immediate. Over time, familiarity replaced scrutiny. Repetition normalized extremes. The audience learned the pattern before understanding the substance. Media didn't reveal Trump's instincts, it sharpened them. The system incentivized escalation rather than resolution. Attention became currency, and controversy became supply. This training mattered because it removed uncertainty. By the time Trump entered politics, he already understood how attention behaved. He didn't need to learn the rules. He had lived inside them. The media environment didn't restrain this approach. It paid for it. And behavior that is consistently rewarded becomes strategy. Politics didn't change Trump. It removed the last restraints. When Trump entered politics, he wasn't adapting to a new system. He was stress testing one that already resembled environments he understood. Politics had shifted towards media dominance, emotional engagement, and narrative competition. Competence mattered less than visibility. Complexity mattered less than clarity. Extremes traveled faster than moderation. Trump didn't require deep policy fluency to compete. He required narrative dominance. The system responded accordingly. Opponents attempted correction through explanation. The system rewarded spectacle instead. Resistance amplified exposure. Opposition increased relevance. This wasn't a takeover. It was an alignment. Political structures no longer filtered behavior the way they once had. Attention outperformed accountability. Trump did not break the system. He revealed its operating logic. The behavior felt unprecedented only because the feedback mechanisms were misunderstood. What succeeded in real estate and media now succeeded in politics. The environment selected for him, and once selected, it reinforced him. The uncomfortable truth is not about personality, it's about amplification. Institutions magnify the behavior they claim to oppose. Opposition strengthened the signal. Media monetized the conflict. Trump did not succeed despite the system. He succeeded because of it. Each attempt to suppress attention produced more of it. Each effort to correct narrative increased engagement. The feedback loop intensified. The system failed to self-correct because it rewarded the very behaviors it criticized. This is not unique to one individual. It's structural. Focusing exclusively on Trump avoids confronting the machinery beneath him. Personalizing the outcome protects the system from scrutiny. The real lesson isn't about character. It's about incentives. Systems reproduce what they reward, and this one rewarded visibility over restraint. Donald Trump is not a historical glitch. He's a preview. He represents what emerges when attention consistently outperforms accountability, when outrage travels faster than trust, and when systems lose the ability to correct themselves. In that environment, outcomes stop being surprising and start becoming predictable. The focus on Trump's rise often misses the larger pattern. The question is not how one individual succeeded, it's why the environment kept making room for him. Systems shape behavior by rewarding what works. When engagement is prioritized over stability, visibility over restraint, and reaction over resolution, figures optimized for attention naturally rise. The dynamic's not unique to politics. It appears wherever incentives favor amplification over evaluation. Institutions respond to pressure by chasing attention, and attention rewards those who generate it most efficiently. Over time, this creates a selection process. Certain behaviors survive, others disappear. Removing a single name doesn't change this process. The conditions remain, the incentives remain, and as long as they do, similar figures will continue to surface. This reframes the entire narrative. The question shifts from "how did this happen?" to "why does it keep happening?" Trump didn't rewrite the rules, he exposed them. Donald Trump's real history isn't hidden, it's ignored. Because acknowledging it requires acknowledging that the system functioned exactly as designed. The behavior that shocked observers was shaped, trained, and rewarded long before politics entered the picture. From real estate to media to governance, the pattern remained consistent. Visibility generated leverage. Conflict sustained relevance. Resistance amplified exposure. The system didn't restrain these forces. It accelerated them. This story isn't about approval or disapproval. It's about mechanics, how incentives shape behavior, how attention becomes power, how systems reproduce what they reward. Focusing solely on individuals obscures responsibility. Patterns persist when structures remain unchanged. Names rotate. Incentives do not. Understanding this history isn't about persuasion, it's about recognition, seeing the machinery beneath the outcome, and recognizing that without structural correction, the pattern doesn't end. You don't erase a chapter, you either rewrite the system or read it again with a new name.